What if I told you the reason it is taking so long to get over your breakup is because you are trying too hard to get over it? See, whenever you put pressure on something, whenever you are almost chasing something, it is in a way running from you. So the more pressure you put on yourself to get over it, the more resistance you're putting on yourself to get over it. So I went through this breakup one time, one of the hardest breakups I ever went through. And I set a goal. I set a goal. I said, by this date, by this time, I'm going to be over it. I'm never going to be thinking about them anymore. And I'm just going to be done with it. And what happened? Well, that date came. And guess what? I still wasn't over it. So I put more pressure on myself. And I put more pressure on myself. And I kept putting all this pressure on myself to get over it. Now, eventually I got over it, but it took a very long time. Now, fast forward, I'm in a different relationship, go through a breakup, another hard breakup, but this time I said, you know what? I'm gonna let this take as long as it needs. As long as it takes for me to get over it, it is what it is. And guess what happened? I got over it 10 times quicker because there's no pressure, there's no resistance to get over it. Just by knowing it's okay to be sad, just by knowing it's gonna take time, you're in a way just accepting the pain. You're accepting the breakup. You're allowing yourself to feel what you gotta feel. If you put all this pressure on yourself to get over it, and you put all this pressure on yourself to feel better, you're creating so much resistance to get over it. And I get it because this person already took a lot of your time, and now you're no longer with them, and you don't want to take any more time, and you feel like you're wasting all this time, so you're putting all this pressure on yourself. And I get it, I've been there. But if you just relieve the pressure, just take that pressure off yourself and just allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to heal. By just knowing it's gonna suck for a little bit, by just knowing, hey, the next month, the next 2 months, yeah, it's gonna be a little tough. It's gonna be a little rough. Trying to navigate through these emotions, trying to navigate through this pain. Just by doing that, your brain is gonna accept it. Your brain's gonna accept the pain, it's gonna accept the breakup. It's kind of like you ever like at work, you know you're gonna have a really busy day the next day, so you kind of like prepare yourself for it, and then the day happens, you're like, wow, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, and that's kind of what you can do. You kind of just prepare yourself for it. Just like, hey, this is gonna suck. This is gonna be hard for a little bit, and that's okay. We're gonna get through it. I'm still gonna love myself. I'm still gonna push through this pain. And you'll find just by just accepting, hey, it's going to be hard. It's kind of like that hard day of work. It's like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Compared to when you say, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to deal with this pain. I'm not going to deal with emotions. I'm just going to get over this. I'm just going to let it go. Easier said than done. I'm just going to let it go. Well, you do that, all of a sudden you feel some emotions, you feel some pain. You're like, this isn't supposed to be how it's supposed to go. Like, no, I was supposed to just let this go. I was supposed to be done with this, over with it. And then you feel a little pain. You're like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this. And then you feel guilty. You feel guilty about feeling emotions, and you feel guilty about feeling pain. And you shouldn't feel guilty at all. You have nothing to feel guilty about. Just remember, if you are able to feel this pain you are feeling right now, and it's intense, and it's almost hard to take that next breath, just remember your ability to feel this emotion, you also have the ability to feel other emotions just as strongly. Happiness just as strongly. Love just as strongly. If you feel emotions strongly, that's not a bad thing. Yeah. Is it not that fun when you feel pain strongly? No, not at all. It sucks a lot. But think about it. You also feel happiness that much more intensely. You also feel love that much more intensely. You also feel pride that much more intensely. So, just because you're feeling pain intensely right now, just remember this pain is temporary. And you will feel other emotions intensely too again in the future. Other good emotions you'll feel intensely in the future. Because breakups are like injuries, you know? Like, let's say you break your leg. You're not just going to go running the next day. And that's the same with like going through a breakup. So the injury is your heart. Well, I guess you can't just go dating the next. I mean, you can. People do it. Usually heal the wrong way. Usually don't learn the lesson you need to learn because the universe is always trying to teach you a lesson. If you go through this breakup and you just go start dating right away, I mean, usually not learning the lesson. Usually not getting what you need to get out of it. But same thing, I can't go running the next day. Don't be looking at your ex socials the next day. Don't be looking at old pictures the next. You can delete them. You can delete old pictures, absolutely. If you're gonna look at old pictures, delete them. That's the one time you can look at old pictures. If you're gonna delete them or any old memories, do not be reminiscing right away. Yeah, I get it. Maybe once you're healed and you're over it, if you want to do that, fine. And then delete them because then you're just carrying all this old energy. And that's why a lot of people like talk about how they want to get their ex back or they want their ex back. Now, if coming from someone, I have gotten multiple exes back, and I could make a bunch of videos on how to get an ex back. I've done it. I know the formula. It's extremely simple. But here's the deal, guys. I have learned what happens when you get an ex back. That is old energy. That is someone you attracted as an old version of yourself, and you do not want that energy back in your life. Trust me. Just move on. You know, I don't like saying just move on because it's not easy just to move on. Take the steps to move on. Don't just move on. Take the steps. Take the steps to heal. I have other videos on how to heal and all that, but right now I'm just trying to reinforce how you don't need to put so much pressure on yourself to let go. Because the more pressure you put, the more you're going to resist. And trust me, just allow yourself to be sad. You know what? Like, honestly, there are going to be days where you just are feeling down, you're feeling sad. You know what? There is nothing wrong with taking that day to yourself. Because even me, like I'll go through breakups and I'll have a week where I'm just super productive, creating all this new meaning in my life, hanging out with friends, hanging out with family, creating all this stuff, doing all this work, and I'm feeling great. And all of a sudden, I have a day that just hits me. I have a day that just hits me. You know what I do? I take that day. I take that day just to feel and process those emotions and just be sad. Sit on the couch for as long as you sit on the couch for as many hours as you need. Just sit there and feel that emotion. Feel sad, because guess what? You're not going to feel it after a while. If you just take that full day to just feel sad, you're going to stop feeling sad. Now, I'm not saying take every day to feel sad or just don't work on yourself and just feel sad all the time, because you need to do both. You need to feel it and you need to create new meaning. But you got to do both. And like I said, accepting the pain is to accept the breakup. So right now I get it. You're hurting and you don't know how long this hurt's going to last for, how long this pain is going to last for. And I get it. By just accepting the pain, you will begin to accept the breakup. And it is really that simple. By just knowing, hey, yeah, this hurts. This is tough. And I'm going to feel this for a while. And by just acknowledging that and feeling that, you're just going to naturally let go compared to just putting all this pressure on yourself. You need to stop putting all this resistance to get over the breakup. But just trust me, guys, because I've been here. I've done it. I've gone through it, and I know how tough it can be, especially when it's a relationship where there are trauma bonds involved or toxic patterns involved. It can be that much harder, especially when you really sacrificed a lot. But I'm telling you right now, you're gonna get over this. You're gonna feel better, and you're gonna be living a better life in no time. I'm Brandon, and I take people from breakups to breakthroughs.